You know what's interesting? Your blood vessels have no pain receptors, which means that you can feel completely normal while your body is quietly accumulating stress in the background, and that's kind of terrifying. But the RingConn Gen 3 is trying to do something different. Instead of just telling you what happened today, it's trying to help you understand the long-term trends happening inside your body over weeks or even months. And after wearing it basically 24/7, I think this might actually be one of the most interesting smart rings we've seen. And that's not because it has the most features, it's not because it's the flashiest, but because it solves one of the biggest problems with health tracking: consistency. So let's talk about the RingConn Gen 3, what's new, how the new Vascular Trend feature works, why I think smart rings are becoming way more compelling than smartwatches for health tracking, and whether this is actually worth buying. Now, if you haven't heard of RingConn before, they're a company that's focused specifically on smart rings and long-term health tracking. And with the Gen 3, they're introducing a bunch of upgrades, including better battery life, vibration alerts, a new brushed finish, and most importantly, a new feature called Vascular Trend. And I know that sounds very medical and intimidating, but the idea is actually quite simple. So instead of just giving you isolated snapshots of your body, the ring is constantly building a long-term picture of how your body is responding to stress, recovery, workouts, sleep routines, and just everyday life. Because one measurement doesn't really tell you much, but a trend does. Now, the first thing that surprised me about the Gen 3 is just how easy it is to forget that you're even wearing it. And it's one of the biggest advantages that smart rings have over smart watches. I wear smartwatches all the time for reviews, but sleeping with one is still something that I never fully got used to, especially the bigger watches. The RingConn Gen 3 weighs between 2.5 and 3.5 grams, depending on the size, and it's extremely thin at just 2.3 millimeters. RingConn also uses this inner round, outer square design that basically helps the ring sit more naturally on your fingers so it doesn't dig into your skin or leave pressure marks. Now, what I noticed after wearing it for a few days is that I just completely stopped thinking about it. I would go through a whole workday of typing scripts, editing videos, shooting B-roll, driving, working out, and then later realized that I completely forgot I even had it on. The Gen 3 has an IP68 rating, so you don't even need to take it off when you're washing your hands, showering, or swimming. That's exactly what you want from a health wearable, because the best tracker is the one that you actually keep wearing. As I mentioned, the Gen 3 also gets this new hand brushed finish that looks way more premium than a lot of smart rings that I've looked at before. And there are some wearables that just scream tech product. The Gen 3 really doesn't. It just looks like jewelry. You can wear it at the gym, in meetings, at dinner, or at a formal event, and it doesn't look out of place. Now, battery life is another area where the Gen 3 really stands out. RingConn claims between 11 and 14 days of battery life, depending on usage, which is kind of insane for something this small. And compared to most smartwatches where you're charging them every day or every other day, this changes the experience completely. Every time you have to remove and charge a smartwatch, you're breaking the continuity of your data. And a lot of times I get distracted and I forget to put the smartwatch back on until later in the day, and now the data is definitely incomplete. Now, this long battery life on the RingConn also means that I almost never need to bring the charger with me when I travel. It's one less thing for me to pack and also one less thing for me to leave behind. With the Gen 3, I basically stopped thinking about charging altogether, and weirdly enough, that actually makes the health tracking feel more useful because the ring just quietly builds this ongoing database about my habits and routines in the background. Now let's talk about the biggest feature here, Vascular Trend. First, quick disclaimer, this feature provides general wellness information only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent diseases, and it's not a substitute for professional medical advice. What RingConn is doing here is focusing on long-term vascular trends rather than isolated one-time measurements. Now, this is a really interesting direction for wearables because most people only think about their health reactively. So something feels wrong and then they start paying attention. But the entire idea behind this new feature is that your body can be under stress for a long time before you actually feel it. The RingConn app tracks trends over time and gives you insights into patterns related to recovery, stress, sleep, circulation changes, and what's cool is that it's not just focused on daytime data. Now, one of the biggest talking points here is overnight tracking, because according to RingConn, your overnight pattern can sometimes reveal trends that you wouldn't notice during the day. Now, going back to comfort and convenience, this is where smart rings make a lot of sense. A smartwatch is fine during the day, but a lightweight ring is way easier to wear consistently while sleeping. I also like that the app tries to contextualize the data instead of just throwing graphs at you. It highlights things like sleep rhythm, recovery, stress response, and overall stability trends over time. So instead of obsessing over one number, you start looking at patterns. Now, another important feature is sleep apnea monitoring, and RingConn says that they're the first smart ring to offer this. The Gen 3 checks every 2 seconds for continuous SpO2 tracking that's designed to identify even extremely small abnormalities. Now, besides the sleep apnea monitoring, the Gen 3 also gives you an overall sleep score so you can quickly see how well you actually recovered overnight or not. It tracks things like sleep stages, including deep sleep, light sleep, REM, and awake time, sleep apnea related metrics, including AHI score, number of apnea events, blood oxygen levels, and oxygen drop frequency, as well as sleep quality indicators such as total sleep duration, sleep efficiency, sleeping heart rate, and skin temperature. So instead of just telling you how long you slept, it gives you a much better picture of how well your body recovered. This can help explain situations where, for example, I might sleep for 8 hours but still wake up tired, because I can quickly see things like low sleep efficiency or shorter deep sleep duration. And when RingConn shows me things like high sleep stress, I know I need to do things like reducing phone use before sleep. I also want to mention that for women, the Gen 3 provides cycle tracking and fertility insights. And of course, in addition to vascular trends, sleep score, and cycle tracking, the RingConn Gen 3 can also track your vitals like heart rate variability, blood oxygen, stress, and fitness. At this point, I don't think that rings are designed to replace smartwatches. I think that they're more of a complementary device. Smartwatches are still better for productivity, notification, apps, workouts, navigation, and all of that kind of stuff. But smart rings are becoming incredibly compelling as passive health wearables, and the RingConn Gen 3 might be the best example of that. It's comfortable enough to wear all day and all night. The battery life is excellent. There's no subscription fee or paywall features like there is with so many other products. The vibration alert provides real-time alerts for inactivity, low battery, or unusual body signals, and the alerts are subtle so you don't get sidetracked or distracted like when you look at alerts on your phone. Finally, the new Vascular Trend feature adds a valuable layer of long-term wellness insights that most wearables aren't really focusing on yet. And this feels less like a gadget that you interact with constantly and more like a quiet background system that helps you understand yourself better over time. You know what I always say? Buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck and see you soon.